Everybody, you got to get in right now. You got to get it in your head online.com. It's the Jim Montana website, baby. You don't want to miss it. We've only got a few left. Pick up the phones right now and dial.
All right, and we're back. And we're joined at this time by a former NWA World Tag Team Champion. We asked TNA, give us somebody that's really going to make the fans roll over and just do tricks and all that kind of stuff. We said, give us a superstar. But, man, that Delirious is difficult to get a hold of. So we have with us right now the big man from Dallas. We've got Lance Hoyt.
Welcome, Lance Hoyt, in your head. You got
Thanks for having me on.
All right. You got the big TNA pay-per-view this weekend, No Surrender. Have you been announced for a match yet?
Yeah, they just announced one. That the Nationals and I are going to team up and beat up the Canadians.
Oh, Team Canada.
Yeah.
Ah.
Take care of 3 or 4 of them, then we'll work on the other one later.
Yeah, you get Scott D'Amore last.
Yeah, well, I already took care of Scott.
Let's see. I didn't see the show yet this week.
No, I mean at the last pay-per-view.
Oh, that's right.
He's convalescing back in Windsor.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him. I hope we don't see him without pants again.
Yeah, me too. I hope he put those back on, because, man, that scares me, and I think everybody else in the arena.
Now, before you came to TNA, were you wrestling on indies?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 5 years now, and I spent pretty much most of my time here in Dallas. There's an organization that is the best in Texas and probably one of the best in the nation as far as the show, the product, the facilities, and everything that's combined. It's called PCW, Professional Championship Wrestling, and they run a weekly show out of Arlington, Texas, and it's where I pretty much did what I did and learned what I learned until I got to TNA.
Right. Anybody else from there come to TNA?
I mean, several of the guys have gone and tried. I think for me, I got lucky, right place, right time, because a lot of the guys that have come up to TNA, a lot of them, would go through Nashville. There's no reason they couldn't be there also. Like I said, I just got fortunate and was in the right place at the right time and did what I was supposed to do when I was supposed to do it, and got my shot.
Well, I was going to ask where you got the name Dallas from, but I guess you answered that. As your hometown?
Yeah, that's where I'm living now. I mean, I was actually working under the name Shadow when I first was going and trying out for TNA. And the night I got signed, they said, all right, you're Dallas. I said, all right. You're good.
All right.
Put me on the TV show.
I think Stone Cold has a similar story. Steve Austin. They gave him the Austin name because he's from Austin. So that's good company to be in.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest things are what names come from, I guess.
Right. How did you feel about changing the name from Dallas to Lance Hoyt?
At first, I really wasn't very happy about it because I guess my idea in professional wrestling always was to be a comic book character, to have a gimmick, to be under a gimmick name. And when they were first told me that I was going to work on my real name, actually I'd been off the show for a while, so when they told me I was coming back, I was happy about that. And then they said, okay, but you're going to work under your real name. Really wasn't excited about it, but the way the fans have latched on to my real name is amazing, and it's a lot of fun. And I guess if I ever actually become something within the world of professional wrestling for the history of it, it'll be kind of cool that my real name will be what people remember.
Did they give you?
You're lucky your name's not like Bill Johnson or something. It's something the fans can get a hold of and run with.
Yeah, and they have for sure.
Oh yeah.
Was that something that you could have ever imagined, that there'd be people chanting your name? And it just suddenly started one week out of nowhere?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the fans had always kind of paid attention to me when Kash and I were together. Mm-hmm. I hadn't been allowed to do a whole lot, and then, the first chance I got to really do some stuff on my own, they just really enjoyed it. And this will sound egotistical, but it didn't really surprise me for the simple fact that I've had that kind of success on the independent level pretty much everywhere I went, about as fast as everywhere I went. It did shock me, I guess, a little bit as quick as the people picked up on it and were behind me, but I really wasn't that surprised that it happened.
Right. Well, you have to have confidence, I think, to make it in wrestling. So it's good you have that.
Definitely.
You mentioned teaming with Kid Kash. Did you learn a lot about wrestling for TV from Kid Kash?
No, do what? I'm sorry?
Did you learn a lot teaming with Kid Kash?
Oh, yeah, I mean, of course. Kash really took me under his wing. I mean, as much issues that he had with the company and so on and so forth, he and I never had a problem. He always was very helpful with me, very, I don't know what's the word, kind of a mentor,
Right. And took you under his wing.
Yeah, I mean, every time we went out there, he was very proud of me every time we went because we always did well together. The team meshed from the very beginning, and, we complimented each other, his style and his abilities along with my style and my abilities. It was never a problem, and he just, if something would go wrong, he would say, hey, work on it this way. I would, and things would get better. Like I said, between he and I, it was always good. He helped me out a lot, yeah. When
he left, were you worried you might get lost in the shuffle in TNA? As a singles guy? And they wouldn't have a spot for you?
This business is very tricky sometimes, and, when I found out that he was not with the company anymore the week before lockdown on the website. Nobody called me and said, hey, this has happened. And I looked up on TNA's website and it said that they'd parted ways and released him. And it caught me and I think everybody else off guard, but I guess me and my situation being that who we were and where we were, it did make me worry about it a little bit, but when I got there for lockdown and I spoke with the people in the office and they were like, listen, this is what we're going to be doing. And I said, okay. And we ran with it. And, God rest his soul, when Candido went down in lockdown, I was left in the ring by myself. And the fact that I was able to continue the performance and that nothing really had to be adjusted as far as the office was concerned, except the fact that Candido had to be pulled out of the ring. I think I gained a lot of respect from several people simply by being able to do that. And I've just continued on and tried to continue to better my performance each time I've been out there. And it's been a lot of fun so far.
If Kash would have stayed with the company, do you know what plans they had for the tag team? Do you think you guys would have got a title run?
I think they would have had to give us a title run. I mean, the fans had really they'd gotten behind us from, Destination X when we were put onto the pre-show. We'd been put back together. We worked with AMW at the pay-per-view prior to lockdown or prior to Destination X, and, we did well and everything was fine, and then we showed up at Destination X, and they're like, okay, you guys are just on the pre-show. And then what Kash and I did on the pre-show, working against Jarrell Clark and Cassidy Riley, it made them regret not putting us on the pay-per-view as far as the main show, and, just things were building in that direction. And I think if it would have been ignored, it would have been bad, I guess.
Right.
A lot of people complain about politics in wrestling holding people down. I mean, it seems from what you've said that a lot of people wouldn't complain so much if they had the ability to go out there and grab the spotlight for themselves and hold on to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you can finish, sorry.
No, just the politics in the business are always something you have to deal with. But I think, it's funny because people want to mention it and say that it's bad in wrestling. I just think it's bad in everything in life, Right. No matter if you're in the biggest construction site working in a hospital or a professional wrestler, we just happen to be a much more publicized thing.
Do you prefer when TNA was in Nashville, or do you like it better in Orlando?
Both places are great. I mean, the Nashville crowd, different vibe, different group of people, and there was a lot more of a committed crowd, I guess, coming out of Nashville because it was in that same place and it wasn't like in Orlando. We have so many great fans that come out in Orlando after we.
A lot of tourists too.
We do have a lot of tapings, but a lot of the crowd is fed in from the park, and so we have a lot of new faces, a lot of new eyes seeing TNA each and every time that we have a show, and they're always entertained and they always leave happy. But Nashville was just a core group, and, they were hardcore and they were there for years at a time. So, like I said, different vibes, but still great crowds both sides.
Yeah, it's kind of the Nashville crowd to me was similar to the ECW arena crowd. You saw a lot of the same fans in the front row.
Yeah.
You saw like the
a lot of diehards.
Yeah, like the heel section.
Yes, big time.
But I get the Hoyt chants that they start in Orlando.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, did you ask if that started in Orlando? Yes,
yeah.
It did. Yeah.
Did that start at any particular match, or it just started up?
I guess it just kind of started out when I changed me over to my regular name.
Right.
And, I don't remember exactly where it started, but, as soon as they changed me to Lance Hoyt, and all of a sudden you could just start hearing people, especially down in the pit, and it's just now aptly named the Hoyt section. It's no longer the TNA pit, it's the Hoyt section, to let everyone know. Just there, every time I would throw a punch and things like that, I started seeing tapes from back in the day, or not back in the day, but just, started back a few weeks ago, and, before anybody even really noticed or paid attention, you could still hear those core group of people, and, just throw a punch and you hear Hoyt and this and that. So, they've latched onto it, and they've taken it to a whole new level, and I think, they really get the crowd going, and when the crowd hears them going, they go, wow, there's a reason for them to cheer that way, and they do. They enjoy it.
Yeah, TNA has to come out with some Hoyt merchandise.
That's what I keep telling them.
Yeah, definitely. They got the Shark Boy stuff. They can have some Hoyt.
I'm pretty sure they will, man.
Yeah. You think TNA should focus more on building stars like you and Abyss, Monty Brown, AJ Styles, or bringing in, big name people that have name recognition, or a little bit of both?
I think you have to be able to mix a little bit of the old in with the new. I think that's the business, because everybody knows and recognizes the past. You can't forget about it. You can't ignore it. But there is a future to the business. And Monty Brown, myself, AJ Styles, Abyss, Chris Daniels, Chris Sabin, Michael Shane, all these names that I'm throwing out here are the future of this business. And if you try to ignore that and you try to say, these guys aren't important, then you're not looking for growth, and I think that's what we are, is growth. We're the future. But if you try to ignore the past, in the same sense, if you try to ignore the fact that there have been people that have already done great things in this business, you're Kevin Nash, you're Sean Waltman, you're Diamond Dallas Page, you're Dusty Rhodes, all those gentlemen who have been there, done that, and have succeeded. If you try to ignore the fact that they have succeeded and just forget about them, then it can be just as detrimental as not looking towards the future. But I truly think that there should be a focus on the newer generation, simply for that we are the future,
Right.
With all the recent released WWE wrestlers, is there anybody that the office have already said, we need to see if we can get a hold of this guy, or is there anybody that you feel would be a big asset to TNA's current product?
I don't really know. I'm hearing that Rhino might be there this weekend. So there's one of the guys that, had been released, but I guess that was a little while back in comparison to all the gentlemen who just recently got released from WWE. As far as all that's concerned, I don't know. I'm just really trying to focus on myself, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and to continue my growth and hopefully really plant my feet in TNA and make this company go, man, this is somebody that we can really build the company in and around.
When people talk about bringing guys that were fired recently by WWE, do the people in TNA see that as bringing in guys to take their spots, or do you guys see that if they bring in the right guys, it'll just help the TNA product?
All of us are looking for growth. All of us are looking for the most positive things. So if someone that has recently been released can come in and can be worked with along with everyone else that's already there, and it helps the company grow into the next echelon of professional wrestling, then it's a positive thing. But if people are just going to be brought in because they've made a little bit of a name in a different company, and the ones that busting their butt there are forgotten about, I don't think that's a positive thing.
No.
I don't believe that's what our company wants to do, but like I said, I think all of us want to become the next big thing in professional wrestling, and if there's somebody else out there that isn't currently with the company can help do that, then I think it's only a positive thing for the guys who are already there and the company itself.
Do you prefer working with the bigger guys, or do you like to work with like the X Division type wrestlers in the ring?
You know what? I've always enjoyed working, I guess, with the smaller guys for the simple fact that I like to move around. I like to fly around. I like to do a little more than I've normally done. And with the smaller guys, you have to stay on your toes because they're so fast, they're so quick, and you definitely, as far as a fan's concerned, you get to see both styles of wrestling in one match. Because I've worked with AJ Styles several times, and it's always been a lot of fun because he's so amazing. He's so phenomenal, just like his name is, as far as what he can do and how he can do it. And then, I get in there and I power around and start tossing in places. The people get to see a little bit of everything. I think one of my best matches and one of my best memories in professional wrestling on the independent level, I worked with Paul Lundy back in, I want to say 2002 maybe, and in Arlington at PCW, and he and I had a match that was just a lot of fun. The crowd was insanely entertained, and we had all aspects of a professional wrestling match because he was so good at what he could do as far as being a cruiserweight, and then I was coming along as a heavyweight, and we threw everything together, and it was just, to me, it was just a lot of fun. So I guess if you ask, I like working with the smaller guys because everybody can get pretty much do everything they want.
I think Styles can work with anyone. He has, tremendous matches with Daniels and guys like Abyss. He has great matches with, the big guys as well.
Yeah, he truly is phenomenal. When people talk about AJ Styles, I mean, I don't think people really understand how good he is until they watch him. And to this time, every time that I've stepped in the ring with him, it's been a good match. And every match that I've ever seen him in with, has been good. So.
When someone like that's on TV, AJ Styles, America's Most Wanted, Christopher Daniels, do the guys in the locker room go around and look at the monitors to watch their matches?
The coolest thing about TNA, I think, is if and when you are there, pretty much everybody is watching the show at all times, unless, they're right before their match and they're trying to get everything straightened out and ready to go and this and that, or they've just finished and they're, sweating their butt off and they need to just go clean up. Pretty much everybody is paying attention to what is going on in the show because the cool thing is we've got so many different characters that are being developed and styles of wrestling that are going on in the ring. It's always an entertaining factor, not only for the fans, but for the guys in the back. So, everybody's always enjoying what's happening in the ring and on the show.
Mm-hmm. And when they were watching, when you first started using a moonsault, were any of them shocked that somebody your size could get up there and do one so well?
I don't know. I've been doing the moonsault for a long time now. I just recently got to throw it out there. I got to go for it at Victory Road, our very first pay-per-view, but it was an 8-man tag that we did in about 5-6 minutes.
Right.
So nobody really remembers it, but it's something that I've just, there's a few other things that the fans in TNA hasn't seen me do yet that I am still capable of doing, but you just don't normally see a big man do it. And I think the one thing that I've enjoyed is being a big man. I'm not 300 pounds and jacked to the gills, but I've got a good build on me, but I can move more like the smaller guys in the cruiserweights, which I think TNA fans are more opted to see because of so many of the exhibition wrestlers that we have. So I like to believe that I have a little bit elements of both a big man and a cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere along that line, somebody from our message board, the Flea, he wants to know if all men in Texas are over, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and if they kick you out if you're under the height requirement.
Yeah, not everybody's that big from Texas. I'm one of the biggest.
All right. So tell everybody that they can go to TNAWrestling.com to watch the Internet Impact shows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So you guys do you think you guys have a TV deal coming up soon?
Nah, I have no idea.
Hope so, anyway?
I hope we do.
Right.
We basically have been told when something happens, we will be the first to know that they will call and inform us, even prior to them putting it on the internet and things like that. So I'm waiting for that phone call from the office to go, hey guys, get ready for the big time because here comes something cool. And they promise us when it comes, they will let us know. But until then, they're not going to tell us anything that is rumored. They're not going to informative, conversations they had, because they don't want things to get out that aren't true, and for, controversy to be created when it doesn't need to be created. So if there's anything that's truly in the works and about to be signed, or if there's anything that's been signed and they're just not ready to publicize it yet, they haven't told us. So, but I hope for something soon.
Mm-hmm. What would be, for you, the ideal spot for TNA on television? Would you prefer to go head-to-head with Raw, or find your own day and time and carve a niche there? That's hard to say. I think it would be great, and all of us would love to go head-to-head with either of Vince's programs and beat them. That's obviously what we'd love to be able to do, because our company wants to be the biggest and the best. But I think it's also important sometimes to find your own spot, to create your own thing, and Vince is really, especially since the whole Monday Night Wars ended from WCW to WWE, Vince has really solidified the Monday night spot as being Monday Night Raw. That's their thing. And, the Thursday night program, I think, is moving over to Friday at some point. But I think if we could get our own good primetime spot and establish ourselves there, it could be a great thing, because that could be our night. That could be what it's known as, and WWE doesn't have any kind of hold on that yet. Again, I think it would be an ego booster, especially if we could find a primetime spot in direct competition with them and beat them at their own game, of course. But, who knows, and I guess when that time comes and we get told what we're going to be doing, then we'll gear up for whatever they give us.
Right. How would you compare Dusty Rhodes and Scott D'Amore as bookers?
Two completely different styles, but both great men. I mean, you can't deny who and what Dusty is. And Dusty's the one that chose to have my name changed to Lance. And, as bad of an idea as I thought it was at first, the man must have known something. Because look what it's done for me and how the fans have reacted to my name. Like I said, two completely different styles, but they're both, great men within the wrestling business. And, Scott is what we've got now, and he's the future right now. So we're going with what he's doing, and everything seems to be on track right now, and hopefully it continues that way.
Right. I think we have some questions here from the message board, if you don't mind answering them.
No problem.
You got some, Barb?
Yeah, one of our female fans, Susie, wants you to know that you have nice eyes, and if that's something that a lot of female fans comment on.
Yeah, I guess it's something that's been commented on a few times. The funny thing is I've had several conversations with different people trying to understand why the female crowd seems to enjoy me, and I guess that could be a good reason and answer to that question that's been asked by the office, is that I have good eyes, and tell her I said thank you.
Yeah.
And we got one from Joe from Tom's River. He wants to know if you consider yourself the modern-day Kevin Nash, and also what big men does he rate as your biggest influences?
I consider myself a modern-day Lance Hoyt.
There you go.
I obviously you can't ignore the styles of the big men of the past. I've obviously taken a little bit from Kevin Nash himself. I actually we had some people who were helping out a while back when Kevin was first working for TNA, and I remember sitting at dinner one night with him and these people, and this girl looked at me and she looked at Kevin. She goes, "Kevin, I think this guy is you now from when you were younger to our future." And he just went, "Well, I hope he has the same amount of success with a few amount of injuries." And I said, "Thank you, sir. I hope I can only have as much success as he has." It was a cool moment, I guess, to have somebody compliment me like that. But I've always enjoyed, as far as big men were concerned, I always enjoyed The Undertaker and Kevin Nash, of course. And my biggest influence, I guess, in professional wrestling, the reason I got into the business was Sting. Obviously he wasn't a small guy, but he wasn't Kevin Nash or Undertaker size either.
Nash might want to talk you out of doing the moonsault. It's probably not going to be good for your knees in the long run.
Yeah, that's why I wear braces and pads and everything else under those pants that I'm wearing. So I'm trying to protect myself, and I don't do it too often, I guess.
I guess we could call Nash the old school Lance Hoyt.
The what?
And we'll call him the old school Lance Hoyt instead of you the modern day Kevin Nash.
Right, exactly. There you go.
We have more questions there, Barb?
Nothing we haven't already covered.
I think we asked all our questions from the message board during our interview. Is there anybody in TNA you'd like to have a feud with that you haven't yet?
Whoever's got the heavyweight title.
There you go.
So if that's Raven right now, let's go Raven. I'll take her on, take the belt from you. No, I think there's a lot of people in the company that I could have a good feud with, and it'd be a lot of fun to work with. And I'm looking forward to whoever gets in my way so that I can take care of and move on to the next and take care of business.
All right. You got any good rib stories or road stories from your time in TNA? That you can share with us?
Luckily, to this point, I've stayed away from any good ribs, I guess. You know, Monty Brown is my traveling buddy, and I guess one of the things that some people might like to know is Monty and I have traveled so much together as far as TNA is concerned that a lot of people have started to give us names as far as the combination is concerned, and we're known as Riggs and Murtaugh from the Lethal Weapon series,
right,
or Bacardi and Cola. And it's actually kind of funny, you know, it's kind of cool that we've been friends long enough that people have paid attention to the fact that we hang out and we have similar mentalities and so on and so forth, that they've actually started to come up with cool nicknames for the pair of us.
Now, before we let you go, is there anything you want to tell your fans out there?
Just everyone keep on rocking, keep on coming out to Orlando, and join all the Hoyt maniacs that are already there. And if you get a chance, check out my website, lancehoyt.com, and hope everybody enjoys the show and hope I keep doing good for them.
All right, and tune in to No Surrender this weekend on pay-per-view this Sunday. And thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
We'd love to have you again at some point down the line.
All right. When you
please.
When you're TNA champ, we'll have you back on.
Well, I hope it's not that long. But,
don't forget about us.
No, don't forget about me, man. That's what I'm hoping.
Good luck in the future.
Thank you very much, guys.
Hey, this is Harry Smith, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.